New bill would allow Rubio to strip US citizens' passports over political speech. Huh. Land of the free, folks.
What rights are being effective if Trump wins? Stop fear-mongering.
I think in this day and age, if people are crying fear-mongering, I think it's more them being oblivious than actually caring. Coming soon, attacks on women's right to vote, interracial marriage and economic security. He wants to get rid of quarterly filing, so he can delay showing the terrible impact his actions are having. No, it's to make it great somehow, by less transparency? So much for the most transparent administration. A lot of the people telling us we were paranoid actually want this stuff to go down. Well, yeah, because they just don't want it being talked about or criticised. Because criticism is just fear-mongering. Or something like that. Hey Republicans, quick reminder.
Cancel culture is fascism.
Is that a self-report that I see? I think that's a self-report that I see. From Stephen Miller too? Jesus effing Christ. I would take up drinking if I wasn't already an alcoholic. Well, take up drinking water. Hydration is pretty important. And that goes for you, dear viewer, as well. Drink water. You still gotta take care of yourself. Right-wingers will be like, show me one example of Charlie Kirk being racist. And then people show them 100 examples of Charlie Kirk being racist. And then they'll say, well, that wasn't racist, he was just telling you the truth. Buddy, I got news for ya. You're racist too. Well, you send them examples and then they try getting you fired and doxxed and they try threatening your life. Because, as everyone knows, the actions of one person reflect the whole group of people, even though the duel wasn't even left-wing, but okay. I have noticed the bots on all of the discussion posts keep saying,
show me an example of him saying XYZ.
And then they don't respond when you do. Seems like a pretty clear attempt to retcon his values for ignorant or impressionable people. It's a tactic they think works, but sadly shows how shallow they are. Just an FYI from Musk. Is it something that's stupid or something that's true that he doesn't stick to? Yeah, it's probably one of the two, right?
If you were unfairly treated by your employer due to posting or liking something on this platform, we will fund your legal bill. No limit, please let us know. You know, being against doxing, firing, threatening, and general cancellation and stuff. Until it's when people say something you don't like. Hate to break it to you, free speech is for all speech. And same with being against retaliatory behaviour. Donald Trump skips the Kennedy Center's vigil for Charlie Kirk, choosing instead to enjoy a weekend away at his golf club in New Jersey. Please let me know if this is a stupid thing or not to think, but I really think that a lot of people on the right are exploiting this guy's death and to increase division and hate all across the political spectrum. Sorry, I really don't think Trump and the lot are the like to actually, care about Kirk dying. It's about how they can leverage that for their own political gain, for more power and more control. How disrespectful. Let's get this guy fired from his job. I think he was meant to say, within 6,000 hours. No, I think he meant 2 weeks, because that's when everyone forgets everything. Watch a montage of Trump saying that he'll end the war in Ukraine within 24 hours of taking office. What? You're telling me that he didn't solve that war within 24 hours and there's sunshines and rainbows and free ponies? Whoa, that's crazy. A Republican, especially a Republican like Trump, would lie on their campaign? Whoa, I thought they were going to give us all free ice cream as well. I'm really surprised he didn't say 2 weeks. I mean, cause his name is 2 weeks Trump after all. More like 2-week Trump. Well, yeah, because he's not strong enough to go to the toilet anymore. Why else do you think he's called Poopy Diaper?
Donald Trump has created the most incompetent government in the entire history of the United States. Well, yeah, because if you put a bunch of idiots in office, that means they're easily manipulatable. A panicked Trump asks for protesters to be removed from a DC restaurant tonight. Aw, little President Baby Poopy Diaper couldn't handle a couple of protesters. I thought he was the most revered president ever. I thought everyone loved him. It's almost as if that just isn't the case at all. And actually he's starting to realize how much people hate him. And he isn't the best president ever. And Trump last week. You can go out to dinner in DC and enjoy yourself thanks to me. So the man that poses as a big bad tough guy can't cope with a bunch of hecklers? Weak. Well, yeah, because that's the whole play. They're acting like the big strong knight that saves the princess, when in reality they would do nothing and want to continue the cycle of government and corporations fucking over its citizens. Oh yeah, he definitely shit his diaper. But it's unclear if that was because of his cowardice and terror in the face of a few unarmed protesters, or just another routine diaper shitting from an incontinent and demented old child rapist. I just assume it's a constant flow into the diaper. The valve just doesn't shut, thus perpetual diarrhea. Oh, like his mouth. Is he like final stage MAGA? Do you get to a certain point where you spend so much time spewing shit out your mouth, it also comes out the other end? Just uncontrollably? And it inconveniences and is disgusting to everyone around you? Yeah, I guess he's late stage MAGA. Hey chat, if you guys enjoy this gay guy reading stuff, you should totally like, subscribe and share, cause it helps me a lot. Anyways, back to the video. But then, Cash saw who was on the list. You want the Epstein files released? Confirm, Cash Patel. Kinda funny that when it comes to the files, Cash pleads the fifth, and when it comes to races, Riley shares the fifth. And when you check Kegsbreath's office for a coffee machine, you instead find a collection of fifths. Now this is what we call a 3/5 compromised. So Riley gains his voice matters because she came in 5th place in a swim tournament. She is totally unqualified for political commentary, because like the rest of MAGA, she's an attention grifter. Maybe she'll reconsider hate tweeting after today. Whoa, but you don't understand, Cash Patel was going to 1,000,000% release the Epstein files, but then it was so weird, because suddenly they existed, didn't exist, existed again, was a Democrat hoax, didn't exist, existed, then Trump was an FBI informant, they stopped existing because he wasn't an FBI informant, and now a time traveler went 20 years in the past to forge his signature on Epstein's birthday book. Strange that. Must be really hard being Cash Patel right now. Definitely not covering anything up. The Guardian article being shared by the right had already been redacted. Oops. Whoa, you're telling me the right thrives off of lies and misinformation? Suspect's high school classmate says Robinson was the only, quote, leftist in a family of very hard Republicans. And editor's note. This article was updated on 12th of September 2025 to remove quotes after the verified source who attended high school with Tyler Robinson said after publication that they could not accurately remember details of their relationship. Oh, but here's the thing, the damage has already been done, it's already been said, so they're gonna latch on that, true or not, until the cows come home. Reporters are such gigantic fucking rubes. You would think after 9 years of Donald fucking Trump, they would stop falling for the same stupid shit. Well, yeah, because it gets clicks. And they've learned that hate sells, and accelerating that hate sells as well. It's by design. They're allowed to not do their due diligence and to rush to judgment when it's something that hurts the poor or minorities.
There is absolutely no punishment for that whatsoever. But they're not allowed to critique the wealthy and powerful, whether rightly or wrongly, because that's how they get sued or lose White House press pool privileges. Yep. The Wall Street Journal insinuate trans involvement because the ammo manufacturer name was stamped as TRN on the casing. And the BBC attribute the Helldivers upright down 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 input as the Iron Front's 3 arrows logo. They don't care how their shitty, quote, journalism affects other people as long as it gets clicks and doesn't hurt the bottom line. As one of the wokes that actually have somewhat of a grasp of things in the modern day, I sometimes look at articles and I cringe a bit because of how either blatantly wrong or inaccurate some of these reports are sometimes, especially if it means disparaging minorities like members of the LGBTQ community, or people of colour, or the poor people, or alternatively, anyone that's not them. Yeah, definitely a miracle. Woman in coma gives birth and now police want DNA from male workers at the healthcare facility. Ugh. Oh no. I don't think DNA tests should be done. Let's receive it as a miracle like we have the Virgin Mary's birth. Or is a man too intelligent to ever believe in something so extraordinary that new life somehow produced itself, while this woman was in a coma? Has this motherfucker gone to any biology lesson? Have they gone to school? Perhaps she had a dream of having a sexual encounter with her husband that her body thought it real enough to produce a pregnancy. What the fuck? This has gotta be bait, right? I refuse to believe that there is someone this stupid on planet Earth. Proof right here that the American education system is, not the best. The first person I would DNA test is the guy who made that comment. It is either the guy's mum or wife that made that comment. Both devout Christians, no doubt. And apparently people who haven't been to a basic biology class. Breaking news, the FBI, run by 2 podcasters, is actively investigating the murder of a 3rd podcaster, while the vice president cosplays a 4th podcaster to host the show run by the 3rd podcaster. The USA, brought to you by Squarespace, BetterHelp, and ExpressVPN. Do I even need to say idiocracy? I think we've got to that point now. We're living in a podcast. Kirk died by a gun, by a perp from a gun-toting family, while talking about mass gun shootings in the US, as an actual mass school shooting was taking place 1 state over at the time. At which point, right-wingers took to social media to threaten gun violence on their fellow working Americans. You don't get a better description of America than that. And people tell me that there isn't a gun problem in America? The fuck drugs are they on to think that? There's a great encapsulation of the situation, despite what right-wing media would have you believe. Well, yeah, because apparently it's the libs' fault and the not us fault, because it's never the right's fault, is it? 3 months ago, today, Melissa Hortman and her husband were murdered by a Trump supporter. They had kids, too. Even their dog was killed. That's how deep their depravity goes. They know what they're doing. Whoa, we don't need to make puns. You had Noam at shoot the dog. I've said before, and I'll say again, what happens to politicians having massive controversies like these and being held accountable? Anyone remember that? You know, like Watergate, controversies leading to consequences and people getting resigned, fired, etc. Anyone? Or is it just me? Am I just remembering a false past where political accountability was a thing? Say what you want, but she is not wrong. Well, The Rock's daughter is getting all kinds of backlash, but isn't she right?
If you want people to have kind words when you pass, you should say kind words while you're alive. Ava Raine to Charlie Kirk. Happened 3 months ago, during his presidency. This administration is disgusting. The administration's disgusting, and in other news, water is wet, and the atmosphere is made of air. Question: do you think it would have been fitting to lower the flags to half-staff when Melissa Hortman, the Minnesota House Speaker, was gunned down by an assassin? And shitty poop diaper. I'm not familiar. The Who? Like I said, they don't give a shit. All they want to do is use it as ammunition to continue the cycle of division and hate, and keep their cult where they should be. And also, a little bit of distraction from the Epstein files. Of course he knows. He's just showing that he doesn't care when that happens to his opposition. He is dehumanizing his opposters. It's not important when a Democrat or a leftist activist is put down. He is a fucking hypocrite, acting in bad faith and knowing exactly what he is doing. 'Cause he is sure that his mob is too dumb to see what he's doing. I honestly think he forgot. Maybe the 2 weeks is also his attention span as well. But the double standards are fucking insane. I'm sorry, but didn't they say, like, calling their family or whatever was not necessary? You know, the families of which members were just killed with political violence. Oh wait, it doesn't matter when they're on the left side of the spectrum.